I'll go.
All right, hello everybody. Chef John Findley back again to teach you how to make your beef stew today. We're cheating a little bit again. I'm gonna make the beef stew for you, but we're gonna have the gravy is already done, but we'll talk about the gravy just to kind of give you that. We don't quite have enough time to make sure everything gets done. It's the magic of television or video chat these days. All right, so with the beef stew, we're gonna use vegetable oil in the pot again. All right, a little bit to brown up the beef. So beef, you can use top sirloin, New York strip, prime rib, any real kind of good quality meat. You're gonna be lucky enough, you're actually gonna get beef tenderloin tips, because that's what we have. So here we go, nice, wonderful beef tenderloin tips added to this pot. We're gonna brown them up real hot and get them all nice and golden brown on the outside, all right? This burner is hot now. One thing I do like to do when I'm making bigger batches of myself here at the club is to put the pot in the oven to actually brown it when we're doing so many, when we're doing maybe 20 pounds of beef tips. It does make it easier, it browns a little faster. We do want to make these to look a little like these. These are almost like little charcoal briquettes in a way. All right, we want to get them really dry, cooking all the fat out of them. So getting them in the oven does help that process a little bit, okay? So I've got this burner on high, pretty high. I'm not gonna do it maybe quite the way I have in the instructions where I got you doing it to medium high. Medium, I think, something of that nature. Medium high, there we go. All right, and cooking them for a while. So in this pot, we would be joking that we're gonna make our roux to thicken the gravy. So we'd have our equal amounts of butter and flour. That is what a roux is called, R-O-U-X. Got it on there. All right, we put the butter in the pot, we put the flour in the pot. We have it real nice on a low temperature, cooking. We want it to lightly brown. You want to stir it often. It does take 5 to 10 minutes to get it done. And then once that's ready, you would add your beef stock to it, whether it could be canned beef broth or maybe actually made beef stock at home. But those cans of beef broth are great. Otherwise, I would say you can use beef base, beef consomme, any of those things. But the canned beef stock works great as well. All right. So we're gonna move the process along a little bit. We're gonna pretend these beef tips are all browned up, just like I showed you, which takes a little while. All right, but we're gonna start adding our vegetables. All right, we've already diced them up a little bit. So carrots take the longest to cook, so we're gonna add those first. Just by a couple minutes, no big deal, seconds I should say. Then our celery, get that in there, and then some onion. These are kind of a chunky dice, if you can tell. We didn't dice them up real fine. We want to be able to have chunks. Everything's in chunk form on this recipe, all right? Cooking hot and hot and hot. We're gonna add a little more oil to it. I didn't quite add maybe the full ounce, so there we go. All right, get that going. Again, we're speeding this process up, so these would probably take a little longer to cook than we're gonna give it time on right now. We'll give it a minute though. So anything of this nature, you could add rutabagas to it, parsnips to it, sweet potatoes, all sorts of different root vegetables would be great in this dish as well. It's beef stew. Anything can go in it. You can think of fall harvest. When it's fall, harvest season. Great time to put everything in one pot, make a meal, especially fresh vegetables from the garden. You can't beat those, getting it from a farmer's market, or if you're lucky enough, your own garden or your family's garden. All that nature, okay? So, we're gonna add our seasoning, which again, moderation is the best. So I've got salt and pepper, a little Italian, a little chili powder, a bay leaf. You can add a little garlic or onion to it. Which we're gonna add some garlic to it anyway. All right, we got some fresh chopped garlic, but again, we don't want to put that in too soon. We're gonna do it right now. All right, get these all cooking. This room, even though it's a big room, is smelling pretty good. The room you'd pretty much be doing all these classes in. We'd have these wonderful video screens behind us on. All right, now we're gonna add a little bit of Worcestershire and red wine. We're gonna deglaze the pan. Again, the timing on this is not exact. Follow the recipe to a little more. We're speeding it up. All right. bean glaze in the pan. You get that nice smoke cloud in the air. Smells great. Get all the little drippings and scraps off of the bottom of the pan. All right. And now we're gonna add our potatoes and tomatoes. Just some nice diced potatoes going in. Our canned diced tomatoes going in as well. All right, stir it in a little bit. And now, being we've had our gravy done already, we kind of cheated. I've already got gravy right here in a pot. You can see it right there. All right. And we're gonna add that in, and now we're gonna let this simmer. We would normally let this simmer for a while. Just nice and low and slow. Depending on what meat you use, it might take a little longer to tenderize. All the vegetables and everything's gonna break down a little bit. These tenderloin tips won't take as long because they're extremely tender. All right, but we would let this go for a good, what did I put on there? Probably about 10 to 20 minutes. Something of that nature. Yeah, I put 10 minutes after stock, whisk it in, all that, okay. It takes about, almost about an hour, there we go. I gotta read my own recipes sometimes. All right, so this is gonna have to simmer. It's gonna take a while, but in that case, we've got a product done already to show you. So this is our beef stew that has been simmered for an hour. Super tender, we're all gonna enjoy this. Here we go. You see the vegetables still show up even though they broke down a little bit. All right, a nice portion of that. And these tenderloin tips will be delicious to eat and nice and warm on these cold days in the winter. So I hope you learned enough today, and enjoy the food tonight for dinner. Variety is wonderful. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks very much.